Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, 45th and 47th, he decided to show up, he woke up and chose violence, and he made this tweet that took the world by storm. Bro dropped, seditious behavior, punishable by death. A lot of people are interpreting this as calling for the death of Democrats, which it is. Let's not get confused. It is. However, this is talking about legal, just, after a trial, death penalty for treason. Turns out treason has consequences. Who would have thunk it? So, bro decided to wake up, choose violence, and drop this one. What's seditious? Sedition is basically treason. It's when you tell people not to follow orders or stuff like that. So anyway, this was in response to this little medley that was made up by the Democrats. They decided to release this. They thought they were so cool, how they're gonna push back against the power. And then Trump called for the death penalty.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative.
Don't give up the ship.
Yeah, they're basically insinuating Trump secretly gave them illegal orders, so therefore the military and the CIA should rebel against the country. This is what some people would call treason. So Trump thought this was definitely seditious and decided to drop the nuke, seditious behavior, punishable by death. This is crazy. This is insane. Now, tweets are nice, but I'd like to see these people arrested. That would make me even happier. Now, obviously, everyone's losing their mind. Seditious behavior, punishable by death. It's pretty crazy, pretty terrifying, but it gets even better. So Trump elaborated, right? It's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. President Donald J. Trump. Thank you for your attention. Is met true. True! First of all, for the record, Trump here is completely and utterly correct. We need to start arresting the powerful people. They can't just be hidden forever. So Trump drops this one. Now, you're probably wondering how the Democrats are going to twist this. Are they going to say it's rude for him to say things like this? Well, nope. They're saying it turns out America is the party of political violence, or rather the Republicans are their party of political violence, and they feel unsafe now because Trump is calling for public murder and political violence, which is not what he said at all. So this is a clip from hyperventilating Democrat Senator Chris Murphy losing his mind that Trump wants to arrest him for treason.
The President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed.
I mean, if they're treasonous or, generational rapists, or perhaps what if they're murderers? Does having the position in Congress protect them? No, it shouldn't. No one's above the law. This was literally all of their favorite phrase. All of these people were chanting in the streets, no one is above the law, in regards to Trump. But now that they are being questioned for being above the law, he's saying, oh my God, he's calling for our deaths. No, he's calling for your trials and potentially execution if the court figures out that you violated the law and are, deserving of the death penalty. This is a whole ass other thing.
This is not normal.
What's not normal is that the democratically elected president of the United States will say something and that the Democrat members of Congress will decide to show up and tell the military and the CIA to disobey orders. I think that's not normal.
Cannot allow this to feel normal. This, as far as I know, has never happened before.
He's not calling for your deaths. He wants a lawful trial and potentially the death penalty. This is like no one is above the law unless you're a Democrat that's committing treason.
In the history of the country.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a point in the history of the country where the democratically elected president of the United States was being attacked constantly by everyone for everything and even for things that he never did. In my opinion, this has never happened in the history of America. This is one of the biggest scandals of all time. The fact that Biden, we don't even know who ran the country for 4 years. The election has unbelievable amounts of suspicion to it, the 2020 election. We know that Obama was directly interfering with making believe that Trump was controlled by Russia, which is proven to be false. We know that everyone is trying to make believe that Trump is being controlled by Israel through the Epstein files. And now it turns out that no, actually, there was literally nothing on Trump in the Epstein files at all. And it was all on Democrats. I'm not trying to be rude here, but you guys are doing something that really doesn't feel normal. It really feels like a war between the deep state and the people.
Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy.
Not a single one of them's lives are in jeopardy unless they go through a court case. And unlike Republicans whose lives are in jeopardy because you people are inciting violence and death upon us. Okay? All right? Like, it's not even close. You guys out here like, oh, actually, I'm not going to condemn Charlie Kirk because there's political violence on both sides. I'm not going to condemn the assassination of Charlie Kirk. If you're saying that everyone's life is in jeopardy because Trump wants to try them for treason, then you're basically saying that everyone's committing treason.
Right now, especially those that were specifically targeted by this social media post. Democratic senators and House members who were simply saying that no member of the military should act illegally.
We were simply saying you shouldn't break the law, guys. Why would this happen? Well, then you have nothing to worry about. He's literally saying he wants the death penalty for people that commit treason. If you didn't commit treason, you have no issue. No problem. You only have a problem if you committed treason. But it looks like you're sweating over there, little piggy. It looks like you're sweating. Did you perhaps commit treason?
Or in violation of the Constitution. The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed.
Yeah, lawfully if they committed treason against the country. Based. I don't see the issue. The only issue is that it doesn't follow up with getting these people arrested. I think that would have been much better. I think this tweet would have looked so much nicer next to a mugshot.
If you are a person of influence in this country, maybe it's time to pick a fucking side.
Oh my God, he said the F word. It's over. It's over. He's going dark woke, guys. He's going dark woke. He said the F word. Yeah. What does that even mean? Pick a side. All right, so I pick America. And, you know, the democratically elected president, I guess, because that's kind of how politics are supposed to work.
If you are a Republican in Congress, if you are a Republican governor, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that under no circumstances should the President of the United States be calling on his political opposition to be hanged.
I literally failed to see the issue. I'm not even gonna lie, I failed to see the issue. Hanged after a trial, if it comes out in court that these people have committed treason against their country and the punishment is the death penalty, I literally see no issue for this. Like, dude, you had the entire left calling Trump a pedophile with zero evidence for 6 months. The last 6 months have been the leftists calling Trump a pedophile. All right? Zero repercussions. All right? And again, this is coming from the pedo party. 89% of Epstein donations went to the Democrats. And they have decided to go crazy. You know, they're installing groomers in every possible school that they possibly can. All right? Like, this is crazy. And so these guys, the pedocrats, they decide to show up. They call Trump a pedophile for 6 months. They essentially say that he's Hitler and not a Nazi and a fascist and trying to take our country back and trying to steal our country. And there's the Nazi uprising. He's telling people to fight back against ICE agents and police officers that are just doing their job legally. So again, I have zero empathy for the pedocrats after it turns out that, yes, treason might actually have consequences. Bro, they had a guy named Jay Jones who's running for the attorney general in Virginia right now, and he's probably gonna win, all right? That dude literally said he wants to put bullets in the heads of little fascist babies, referring directly to a Republican lawmaker. So, like, that guy is fantasizing about murder. Trump is calling for justice. How are we even, like, what is going on?
We are in a very dangerous...
Jay Jones did win? I thought he just won the Democratic nomination. I didn't realize he won the whole thing. All right, W, I guess. W, he won the whole thing? All right, well, that's where we're at. They're electing people. They are direct... Line in the sand, bro. Line in the sand. You're electing people that want to kill us as after it's proven. All right, line in the sand. Where are you?
First moment right now. The president is engaged in the wholesale incitement, endorsement, and rationalization of political violence.
This is not an endorsement of political violence. Like, again, these people, like, this is the leftist hive mind. The leftist hive mind will come together and be like, so I'm going to take this thing that he said, and I'm going to make believe he said something else, and then I am going to be the victim of the thing that he didn't say that I'm making believe he said. And then, you know, start crying on camera. He never incited any form of violence. He's calling for a legal and lawful death penalty after a trial. How are we even remotely like, dude, you guys have been talking about firebombing Teslas and fighting against ICE agents for the last 6 months. And honestly, the biggest issue I have with the Trump administration so far, bar none, is the fact that he is not arresting political officials that are breaking the law. That is probably my biggest complaint about the Trump administration. I want to see more of these leftoids that are out there being like, oh, actually, you should fight against ICE agents. I want to see that guy in jail. Yep, that's my opinion.
In this country. This is a very slippery slope that we are on. This is a moment.
Yeah, so these guys will kill Charlie Kirk and be like, well, he was a racist anyway. And then Trump will say, I actually want a trial for treason. and then be like, this is a slippery slope. Are we on the same page?
For people to step up, for Republicans to step up, for business leaders to step up. Anybody who has a voice or a soapbox in this country needs to draw a line in the sand and say that it is not acceptable for the president
but only for the president.
The United States to call on the murder.
Murder? Murder? Show me where he said murder. Can we sue this guy for slander? If he doesn't go to jail for treason, can we at least get him for slander? Bro, murder? You know, murder is a word with a definition. Murder means the unlawful killing of somebody. That is what murder means. Because, you know, words have definitions. Treason is punishable by death. When he calls for a lawful death penalty for treason, that is not calling for murder. The only people that are amplifying these incitement claims are the leftoids.
Of his political opposition.
Yeah, death penalty is not murder. Death penalty is justice. I'm not saying you deserve it. Obviously, I personally don't think that video is actually worthy of the death penalty. I think a simple getting thrown out of Congress and not being allowed to ever take place in politics and maybe 6 months in jail, I think that would be appropriate, to be honest. I personally think that if I were the benevolent overlord of the judicial system in America, I would say that for that video saying to disobey unlawful orders or whatever, immediate kick out of government. You should not be able to hold office in the country by telling people to disobey their commanding officers or the president of the United States. So that's my opinion. I don't think they should be allowed to hold office. I don't think that's like actually firing squad worthy per se. However, calling for the death of people for committing treason is actually based as fuck. And by you crying about it, it just means that you're scared because you know you committed treason. So anyway, he's not the only person that had a giant meltdown. The meltdowns continue because this is the new thing, right? So this is the best part. It turns out they were spending the last 6 months on Jeffrey Epstein, right? The last 6 months was Jeffrey Epstein. But now, the Epstein files come out. It turns out 89% of Epstein donations were to Democrats. Turns out Epstein hated Trump and had nothing on him. And so now they're basically completely shifting. And it's like, actually, treason is good. This is the new Democrat stance. Actually, treason shouldn't be punished. The Republicans are clearly the party of violence. You know, because we killed Charlie Kirk and they held peaceful vigils. Mostly peaceful vigils. They weren't completely peaceful because some leftists attacked the Republicans at those vigils. So they weren't completely peaceful vigils, but mostly peaceful vigils. Lesson learned. We should kill more of them. That's kind of what they're saying. All right. Anyway, let's see what the next crash out is.
Chris Deluzio here. Today, Donald Trump called...
Hi, Chris Deluzio. I appreciate you stating your name because literally no one ever heard of you.
...for my death. Called for the arrest...
He didn't call for your death. He called for a actual just trial. And if you committed treason, oopsie poopsie.
...and the death of me and several of my colleagues, all who've either worn the uniform or served intelligence services.
No one cares. Literally no one cares.
He didn't want to hear a basic lesson that we know about our Constitution, about the oath we all take when we serve, whether in Congress or your first day out of boot camp. These are bedrock principles in our country.
Wow.
That you follow lawful orders, that the oath to the Constitution...
Everyone that says he called for my death is basically implying that they're guilty of treason. Like, are we on the same page? If someone's like, Trump called for my death with this... Trump makes a tweet. If you commit treason, die. And then these guys are like, he literally called for my death. This is crazy. This is crazy. Bro.
And the loyalty to the Constitution comes above all. I'm not going to be intimidated.
You do realize that Trump is the democratically elected president of the United States, and all these people are literally disobeying his, like, direct orders. Like, all these people are running away from the direct orders of the president.
I'm not going to be deterred from my duty to represent the people who sent me to Congress and to uphold my oath to the Constitution. Don't give up the ship.
Yeah, nothing burger response. Trump called for my death. I'm actually a victim. Committing treason is cool, or whatever. Don't worry, more of them crash out. So Chuck Schumer, right, this is another one of the retards in the Congress. He decided to show up and also start crying about this.
Let's be clear.
Okay.
The President of the United States has called for the execution of
legal, lawful, post-trial execution
members of Congress.
If they actually committed treason, based. Sorry, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I also care about the Constitution. The Constitution says that no one is above the law. All right, is taking slight artistic liberties there, but the Constitution says if you commit the crime, you do the time. I'm sorry, this is the basic principle of America, that every single person is equal under God. All right, this is literally where we stand. Okay? This is the basic principle of the United States of America. It's that no matter who you are, no matter how rich or powerful you are, if you actually break the law, you will be punished. So this guy, by him saying, but actually, members of Congress though, what are you saying?
No president has ever stooped that low. No president.
Yeah, no president apparently had the balls to say that if you commit a crime, you should go get punished for the crime.
Has ever encouraged violence.
He's not encouraging violence. Like, these people are all retarded. The death penalty is not like violence and murder. The death penalty is justice. Like, these people are all retarded. Again, so this is the classic Democrat strategy. The Democrat strategy is take the words that Trump said, throw them away, make something up, and then fight that straw man that you have created of them in your head. And now you just shadowbox against this fake statement that was never made.
The way this president has.
Literally said trial. You manipulative fuck. Chuck Schumer, the first ever Palestinian Jew. No, that's crazy.
Every office holder and where
the woke Jews, man, it's every time.
the hell are the Republicans should speak out against what he has done now.
Yeah, what did he do? What did he do? Call for law and order? That's crazy. No one's ever done that before in this country. So Chuck Schumer makes this tweet. Let's be crystal clear. The President of the United States is calling for the execution of elected officials. Based. This is an outright threat. It's not a threat. It's only a threat if you're committing treason. Every senator, every representative, every American, regardless of party, should condemn this immediately and without qualification. Except, no, that's retarded. And so my response was, hey, Grok, is the death penalty ever an appropriate punishment for treason or sedition? Chuck Schumer says, no one is above the law. The verdict speaks for itself. Grok did respond, but I guess Grok chickened out. Grok, where'd you go? Well, Grok is gone. But Grok did say, actually, that it is allowed. Just giving you the extra lore. Grok said, yes, actually, it is an appropriate punishment. The punishment for treason in the United States is death or imprisonment. Yeah, we know. We know, but it turns out you're all retarded. So, anyway, Cenk Uygur decides to show up. I prefer presidents who don't threaten to murder their political opponents. So, of course, I responded, calling for the death penalty for sedition is not a death threat. You support the Houthis who murdered half the Yemen government and contributed to the death of 377,000 people. You named your show The Young Turks after a terrorist organization that genocided Armenians. Also, you're a fat retard. He's also inbred, but I didn't want to include that in the tweet for obvious reasons. I didn't want to, like, hit too close to home, you know what I'm saying? So, I responded with that one, and we ratioed the fuck out of this fat ass. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's not easy to be Cenk Uygur because his parents are first cousins. So, it's rough. It's brutal. It's brutal. So anyway, Caroline Leavitt did a press briefing, and they immediately asked her, of course, because this is the biggest story in America right now. Biggest story in America. That's crazy. Hello, welcome to the biggest story in America. Trump called for law and order.
This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No.
Boo! Boo! I mean, only if they deserve it, to be fair. Again, I want to make my stance very clear here. I don't think that video that they made warrants the death penalty. I think that there's obviously a sliding scale when you say sedition or treason. I don't think that that level of sedition actually warrants the death penalty. That's my opinion. I do think it warrants them getting kicked out of public office and maybe jail and a fine. That I think it does warrant, but I don't think it warrants the death penalty. What Trump said was perfectly legal and lawful justice. He thinks that that level of sedition did warrant the death penalty, I guess. And I guess that's why we have judges to decide these things and juries. So I guess, yeah, anyway, flip-flop.
Be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response.
Every nation and empire for the last 10,000 years enforced death for treason. Yeah, I'm aware. I don't believe that. So, but again, I believe there's a sliding scale when it comes to treason. I think being like nebulous and making a video saying you should only obey lawful orders, I don't think that that is treason on the level of execution. And the reason for that is because, well, for multiple reasons. But like, I feel like that could be misused and abused at that point, you know? Like, I don't want disagreements per se, disagreements to be treated as treason when it's freedom of speech. Like, I feel like this could swing the other way. You know, I don't want someone to say, actually, the COVID vaccine probably has problems, and they'll be like, treason, kill him. All right, so, you know, obviously there is a sliding scale to this kind of thing. That said, I do think this is seditious behavior, in my opinion, and they are telling the CIA and the military to disobey lawful orders, just like Candace Owens did, by the way. She also did that. I think that hers was even worse, for the record, and I do think that these people should be held accountable for it, because it's a really big deal, actually.
But not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders. Yep. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command.
Obviously.
And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed, it can lead to chaos, and that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country, and if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos, and it could incite violence, and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. These 3 members of Congress, I will also add, knew exactly what they were doing. You look at Alyssa Slotkin. She's a former member of the CIA. Mark Kelly was a captain in the U.S. Navy. Maggie Goodlander was a naval officer, and notably, she is also the wife of Joe Biden's national security former advisor, Jake Sullivan. And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
All right. Honestly, a valid response. I would have preferred a little more standing your ground, to be honest. I would have been like, actually, yes, you get punished for treason. I don't know why people are somehow against being punished for treason. That's pretty weird. I thought you were the party of everyone should be held accountable under the law. I thought. So yeah, no, someone asked me about Candace Owens, so I'll pull up this clip for you.
LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever, and these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites. They're like toy soldiers. And I would have said a few weeks ago that Trump would never do that to you. He would never just throw you into an Israeli war. But right now, our planes are flying in the sky.
And actually, he didn't. Actually, he didn't do that actually at all. And you're just retarded.
And things are going nuclear. So I don't have that.
Didn't go nuclear because Trump bombed the nuclear site in 1 second. And thank God no one was hurt.
Anymore. And I'm comfortable with people being dishonorably discharged because...
She is comfortable with that.
The dishonor has come from our politicians. The dishonor
Silence! Black woman talking. She's telling you to commit treason. So anyway, anywho, so that's where we're at right now, where people are really comfortable telling officers and soldiers and military to literally disobey direct orders, because it just follows their political agenda. What? So yes, of course you need punishment for this kind of thing. It's insane. So Stephen Miller decided to cook, as he tends to do, on Fox News.
It is insurrection, plainly, directly, without question. And when you have one of the lawmakers on that video being unable to state in, as you say, lengthy cross-examination, a single so-called illegal order, it just proves the point.
True.
It's a general call for rebellion.
Agreed.
From the CIA.
Agreed.
And the armed services of the United States by Democrat lawmakers.
That's right. Call it what it is.
Saying that you have not only the right, but the duty and the obligation to defy orders of the commander-in-chief. That those who carry weapons in America's name should defy their chain of command and engage in open acts of insurrection. That the CIA, the clandestine service, which isn't even legally authorized to operate in the United States, should engage in, again, acts of rebellion and insurrection. These lawmakers should honestly resign in disgrace and never return to public office again.
Yes. I mean, I don't think they should resign. I think they should be, like, thrown out, like, literally grabbed by their underwear and hurled out of the building. That's my opinion. But that would be a just punishment. True and based, by the way. Absolutely cooked. That's right. That's right. What are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? You're just telling the officers to literally not obey direct orders, like lawful orders? They couldn't even explain why they're not lawful. They just call them not lawful because it's easier than explaining them. Holy crap, this is insanity. Do something. Arrest these people. Dude, it's with I'm telling you, man, like, yeah, you're good. You're saying good. You're saying great. Now put them in jail. This is a 10-minute video montage of people calling for the death of President Trump. Now, I could play this for 10 minutes. This is just a 10-minute montage of people calling for the death of President Trump. It's insane that this happens. It's insane that these people weren't punished. This is worse than anything that Trump did because we are all equal under the law. Every single one of us. So therefore, if Trump didn't do anything nearly as bad as any of these people. All right? Not even close. This is a direct call for violence. Trump called for law and order. In my opinion, get the fuck out of here. You are the party of violence. You are the party of violence and the party of retards. The party of retards and the party of violence. They've joined forces. All right, let's look at a couple more crash outs over this because I think it's pretty awesome. I think this is one of the greatest crash out situations in recent American politics since literally yesterday when the Epstein files ended up getting every single Democrat exposed. Bro, it's crazy how, like, if you're just some random guy, a normie that doesn't, like, follow the news and doesn't actually know what's going on, you're probably thinking Trump is such a bad president and, you know, he's breaking laws and he's calling for deaths of people and Epstein was his friend and stuff like that. But then when you actually just look a little past the surface layer of lies and deception, the Epstein files implicate the Democrats and do not implicate Trump. The call for death was a call for legal punishment as opposed to the calls against Trump, which are direct calls for violence that get no punishment. Like, it is insane to live in this hyper reality where everyone's retarded.
Congresswoman, I apologize. Have you seen the tweets from Donald Trump?
I have.
And, I mean, as a sitting Democratic lawmaker that's being targeted by these, what's your response?
You know, this is the most insane and terrifying thing that we could possibly see. We know Donald Trump has...
Actually, the most insane and terrifying thing that we possibly could see was when one of these leftoid furry trans freaks decided to assassinate Charlie Kirk. And then everyone on the left, including people in Congress, decided to say, well, Charlie Kirk had it coming for spreading hate. Nope, that was worse. That was infinitely worse. But hey, thanks.
Unhinged. He has dementia. He's losing his mind. But
but Biden was the apex of clarity, moral clarity. Biden was known for being so fit, a cognitive genius, some would even say.
Taking it to an entire other level. He has been operating like an authoritarian since
he literally didn't break laws. Like, this is disgusting.
He was, inaugurated again in January, but this is terrifying, Jolly. I think if this is not the moment for every single Republican member of Congress, every single senator, every Republican governor, any person with influence in this country, if you're not going to speak out against this...
I'm going to speak out. I am against inciting unlawful violence, all right? I am against all forms of unlawful violence, including the incitement of unlawful violence. Lawful violence, on the other hand, is based as fuck, which is why, thank God, we are given the Second Amendment so that we can protect ourselves and we can actually use self-defense to our advantage. That's why we have a death penalty, where we actually should be punishing people, with the death penalty when it's deserved. And you know what? If you execute a couple of these retard murderer psychopaths that show up again and again and again, that woke judges keep releasing, my incredible hot take is people are going to stop doing that shit.
What are you even doing?
Yeah.
How you doing? The president posted that Democrats who urge service members to not follow illegal orders should be punished. It should be seditious, conspiracy, and punishable by death. Give me a response to that.
Look, I know the DOJ and the Pentagon are looking into the legality of all that, but what I can address is what everybody knows. That was wildly inappropriate. It is very dangerous. You have leading members of Congress telling troops to disobey orders. I think that's unprecedented in American history.
I agree. That's what I said too. The unprecedented thing here is not the fact that Trump is calling for law and order. The unprecedented thing is that you have members of Congress openly and confidently telling the United States military to disobey orders. It is seditious behavior. Like, how else am I supposed to describe it? Like, bro, these people are broadcasting themselves committing treason and they're not getting any punishment for it. Oh my God.
As the father of a young man who is at the Naval Academy, going to be joining the service. I know young soldiers, airmen, sailors, they don't need that kind of nonsense from people in Congress. It is very dangerous.
True.
I'm going to let others define what it is, but it's wildly inappropriate.
True.
Boy. On this episode of Democrats playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes, they won stupid prize today because for whatever reason they thought it would be a good idea to put out a video basically demanding that members of the military disobey the president's orders.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Oh God, yeah, we saw the clip. Yeah, we saw the clip. These people suck. They're insufferable in every possible way, possibly the most insufferable. And then there's all the crash outs. So anyway, I just wanted to show you. I just wanted to show what was happening, essentially. So they release a video. The video is like, wah, wah. Trump's an authoritarian, so we're gonna commit treason out in the open. Trump is like, whoa, we should actually punish people for treason. And they're like, he's an authoritarian. He wants to punish people. He wants to murder people. So the conclusion is the following. They are retarded. They will face justice eventually, I hope. And this is just the new Democrat meltdown. I can't believe Trump is calling for the deaths of people that committed treason against this country. And every single person that's crying about this Trump tweet, right? Because again, let's look at the Trump tweet one more time. Seditious behavior punishable by death. If you think that this is referring to you, then you're admitting to committing treason. He specifically and explicitly states that each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. This is perfect legal language, protected under freedom of speech, and also based as fuck. Whereas the other side that are whining and crying that Trump is trying to censor people, while they literally banned Trump from Twitter and every other social media platform at the end of his first presidency. They banned him from the internet because they had a stranglehold on that shit. They are now all crying that Trump is calling for murder, which he's not. These people are retarded, they're evil, and this is the classic leftoid gimmick of Trump said a thing, we're going to make believe he said something else, and we're going to cry about the thing that he didn't say to make it look like he's an authoritarian, and that way we can continue committing treason. Now, Trump, the biggest L of your presidency is that you're not actually throwing these people in jail for treason. All right? Trump, you're not going nearly hard enough. All these lib shits crying their fucking eyes out. Oh, yeah, Trump he's authority. He's going so hard. He's bombing cartel members. Trump, you are not going nearly hard enough. And yes, I get shit every time I say this because, oh my God, they're literally arresting illegal immigrants. Double that shit. You hear me? You hear me? I explicitly condemn any form of illegal violence, but I wholeheartedly condone lawful, just violence. See you in the next one. Fuck these guys. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.